Merry Christmas, Potemkin.
Humbug.
You pack that in right now, mister. I don't want no Scrooge bit, and I want ghosts ruining my Christmas.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
Check out this next grappler.
Oh, she sucks.
Almost as much as you.
Oh god, I hate this guy. Merry Christmas.
My loyal fans!
They were going to look at a grappler that was made for the modern day and still managed to end up being the worst character. I think it's a shame due to the look of the character, and the design is extremely unique for a big body grappler to still be tackled. I also want to state this game is something I haven't tried, so I'm looking forward to checking out and exploring a different system. What's good, fellas? Patriarch Panda here. Are you playing on my phone?
You got games on your phone?
What's up, fellas? Panda here, and of course be sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 5,000 and cover a fun version of Zangief, and we have been growing, my guys. Oh my goodness. And the last video did about how the Grab series usually does. It was pretty awesome to see Blaze get a ton of love, and a lot of you guys appreciating what you got to see. Hell, there was a couple of commentators that I reached out to within the scene, like said, a fantastic Scottish commentator when I was watching Virtua Fighter Tournament. I reached out to him because he's like the only person I can relate to on this. There's not many other Scottish commentators in terms of the FGC, so I was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna reach out to a lot of real ones within the scene. Be sure to check out the membership system as it helps me out. But let's talk about what an anime grappler wants. An anime grappler tends to lack the movement of the anime game that they're in. For example, Potemkin don't got a forward dash, right? Don't got an air dash, but he makes up for that using special moves. Neutral is still very, very awkward, but once this type of grappler is in, it is suffocating. But they have to play around the very strong throw protection frame. Besides that, once they're in, it's a classic. They're in. Talk about the game of today. This is a Kingdom's Junction. Please tell me your select. Judge Ian Arthur, Arcana Blood. What a tongue twister. Ian Arthur is an insane anime fighting game with ridiculous feel and mechanics attached to it. The roster is varied with characters that have many elemental abilities like fire, wind, ice, and there's some that have none. There's also assists in this game, but we'll talk about all that in a moment. Also have a guest character being one of my absolute favorite guys, Iori Yagami. I would love to cover Iori one day, but he sadly isn't a grappler, you know? Game is an anime fighter, so that means it has a ton of mechanics, so bear with me as it's important to mention all these. It's a 4-button fighter with the classic light to medium to heavy. Its D buttons are used for elements. This is where your character's unique attacks come from. For Arthur, they give him a projectile invul approach and a cross-up tilt. The game has multiple meters and assists to pay attention to, so it can get a bit confusing, but let me break it down.
Let me break it down for you, Mark.
Meter at the bottom maxes at 200. You can use 100 for a simple super, and you can use 200 for a big cinematic super. You can also use 100 to activate an install that pauses the timer and makes all your normals cancelable, meaning those cheeky overheads are now combo stars. All your normals get your elemental ability, so for ice it can set up more hit stun as an example. Enchanted boost can be hard to throw out there, but it does have slight invul. Using this for a comeback wouldn't be a bad idea. Up next, these two mechanics stand out because this is the thing that makes the game the game. The burst and assists. Burst can only be used once per round, but it would give you meter depending how much health you had left and build 100 slowly. It escaped combos and the max meter went up by an additional 100, so you went from 200 to 300 meter to play with. This is an insane comeback tool that both players have access to. And then you had the assists with the mana bar. You could choose your assists at the start of the game with the mana cost between 1 to 3. You have 5 mana, but you have to build up as you start from 0. And these assists can be either used for pressure, neutral, resets, you name it. It gave the game so much variation when you're picking assists with your main character. There was a lot of lie about it, but of course you want to pick assists depending on your character. It's the nature of these games, you know. There's going to be strong ones, and then there's going to be strong ones for your character. Like I said, many anime games, the mechanics are plentiful and it's very visual, it's very in your face. It's time to talk about the grappler of today, the queen of the dwarves, ice cold grappler, Snow White. I know what you're thinking when this video started. What am I looking at? That's massive! That's a boss character! That's not legal! Yes! Her dwarf can transform into a big fella as she uses them to fight her battles. They also have the maddest level 3 I've ever seen. So our story is basically non-existent, if I'm honest with you. That's the nature from what I was reading, at least. Like, it's just silly. This is how, let me break it down to you, right? Let me break it down to you. This is what the dwarfs were like. The dwarfs heard of historians from the future and was like, yo, we gotta get our queen on that for being beautiful. For real, we need to throw hands for our queen. And that's it, right? They forced themselves into it. And the best way to put it, hijinks ensues, as the wiki says. So the reason I wanted to cover were the weaknesses, but we have to talk about the positives first before we get to that, so you can understand why she was one of the worst modern design grapplers that there is.
She stinks.
Oh yeah, almost as bad as you. The positives. Snow White had a large health pool, so we're starting off well. Our dwarfs could put monstrous damage on combos or pokes, so that was another positive worth noting. You know, these are the classic for the big fellas. Our command grab is a main though. This deals a good bit of damage and the reaches stand out. This also ignored Guts' defensive mechanics of the game, so the grabs were a-okay. Also, some normals could kill projectiles like our Down Dust. Sorry, Down D. That's the Guilty Gear talking. What can I say, we're all a Guilty Gear, I'm blaming the beasts right now. Her enchanted boost was an ice install, which is one of the strongest ones. It gives more hit stun, allowing for freeform combos, which Snow White desperately needed for the slow behemoth. Sadly, that's it. Everything else is downhill from here, and the only things to make her work weren't really her toolkit, it was the assists and the enchanted boost, you know, that like, it wasn't the things that made her good that made her good, it was the things that the game allowed for her to be good, you know what I mean? But her kit was bad, and we're gonna get into that. The negatives. So, there is a lot that holds her back, and I want you to keep in mind, this is a modern grappler. And I want to mention right before we get into any of the balancing stuff that I love the concept of this grappler. Has it been done before where it's an overly large grappler, so much so that they actually need to extend the camera to see what's going on? I think it's great. It's not really been done, and I appreciate this attempt at a big body grappler. However, the balance and some of the design decisions weren't exactly there, but the design and the concept, it's right there. Balance decisions that really held her back and stopped this grappler from being one of the greats with a unique design. But let's get started with the movement. The movement was horrible. Like, genuinely some of the worst movement I've seen in a moment. I get why they've done this. The size is insane, so giving him Zangief movement can be seen as too much. But I want you to look at the step dash. That step dash takes 61 frames to be done and barely moves forward. For instance, Johnny can do 4 forward dashes in the time it takes Snow White to do 1 and is across the entire screen. We're off to a good start. Next thing is obviously the height of this character. It is insanely easy to set up fuzzies and unblockable setups on this fella using assists, so the height worked against you more than it did support you. Your buttons were slow and very unsafe. Your 5C and 2C were both -17 on block, but covered a good bit of space. However, this works against your design as a grappler, as you want to get close and you're being told the best place to use these normals is at a distance, aka play a zone or game plan. So you're encouraged to go against the design of your character. Don't get me wrong, grapplers are meant to wall, but if you're walling someone from full screen, it means that you're not initiating anything. Like when Zangief walls, he does it from mid screen, and because of that, the throw is ever present. Here, it's not, because your movement isn't good, like we talked about earlier. You're not chasing Oki, that's for sure. One weakness that tends to be ignored in a lot of grapplers is how risky your game plan is. In a normal fighting game, when a grappler goes for his game plan and he whiffs a throw, they're very punishable. However, their health and their size can kind of make up for it. In the case of Potemkin, he could tank a lot of hits. In the case of Zangief, sometimes it's hard to catch him when he goes for a command grab and you've jumped back. It can be hard to punish some of the usuals when they go for their command grab. But in Snow White's case, with her dwarf's big fat ass, they're getting hit every time. There's no denying that. You're gonna get punished for whiffing a throw. And that was one of the problems with this character, is that when you whiffed a throw, you weren't gonna get small punish, and the person wasn't gonna panic for it. They were gonna get it every time. My lord, neutral was slow! Just an awful time. The only way to play neutral was getting assists that can cover that aspect of your game. That meant you would lose out on assists that could enhance your offense. Ugh, nothing works! So your combos sucked. They were only good when you had enchanted boost, meaning you're very super reliant as well. If you want to assist after a command grab, you can't, because it turns out command grabs are the only special moves in the game that can be cancelled into a level 2 or 3 assist. Not only were you limited in fundies, you were limited in creativity, and you relied on all these mechanics. Oh yeah, classic to be sure. Your losing matchup. Your command grab was also too slow when you needed it, so that's awesome, and the Oki was extremely mid. This grappler has a unique gameplay design with the size of a boss character in a classic 2D fighter. But sadly, Snow White's dwarfs just couldn't compete with their size. Sadly, we leave with no highlight, as this character wasn't really played much in tournaments. You bet he wasn't played much, my goodness. There was one VOD that I could find with a player called Magnesum. Magnetism. Oh god. Wow, my brain. There was one VOD that I could find with a player called Magnetism, and that was about it. They did the best they could, but this character was not made to be played seriously. We leave thinking that this character had a great concept, but the practice needed more time to tweak out. In the future, I would love to see this type of grappler attempted again, because that is unique. But yeah, fellas, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe, as it means a ton. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, and we're basically like 400 off. You guys have been going crazy, man. And we will have another Christmas-themed grappler, so don't you worry. I'm looking forward to it, that's for sure. Make sure I say hi to the Terrapins, and we're going to be ending off with the classic Grappler Church. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Merry Christmas!